Hey YouTubes, how's it going? It's been a while since I featured the Dyna on my channel, so I thought I'd take you out for a quick ride with me. As I've said in my past videos, I don't like to wear this helmet very often, only when I'm making a YouTube video. So I hope quality turns out okay. It's kind of windy out, so we'll see how the audio comes out with the wind later when I'm editing. Not much I can do about that. I picked this bike up a few months back. I traded it in a hopped up 88-inch for this 2013 Dyna Super Glide. When I bought it, it had a little less than 4,000 miles on it. So darn near brand new considering it's a 2013. I mean, it was probably only ridden about 500 miles a year, if you want to break it down that way. Completely stock, bone stock. Stock grips, stock bars, stock pegs, stock air filter, stock pipe, stock tune. I mean, literally bone stock. So the only thing I've done so far was a stage 1 kit. I have an S&S air cleaner on it and some Bassani radial sweepers, and then a tune from Moto on my Power Vision, and then I put on this air deflector. I like to ride with an air deflector because I wear prescription glasses, and without some kind of windscreen my eyes start watering up real bad, and I don't want to spend the money for some really high-end sunglasses that wrap around my eyes like Oakley's or something, and then a year later have to do it again because my prescription changed. But I try to keep the air screens minimalized as much as possible. This one's not really removable. It's bolted down to the bars. I could take it if I wanted to, but it would require some time and intervention to do that. Like I said, this isn't a fast bike. It's a 96-inch. I do have some plans for it though. The Breakout has the 110 kit coming, and it'll have new cylinders and pistons and new heads and all that mess. I'm going to move over the cylinders and pistons from the 103 to this bike, so that I'll give it a 103 kit for basically no money on my end. And then I'm going to put a Woods 555 cam in this bike with a nice tune. So that'll give it to where I want it. This isn't going to be a power bike when I'm done, but it'll make it a little more quick than what it is. Overall, I've been pretty happy with this stock 96-inch. There's nothing wrong with it. It's got some get up. It sounds good. I've considered leaving it alone and just putting on some different bars, which is definitely one of the first things I'm going to do with this bike. I'm hunched over pretty good on this bike, even with the stock bars. I don't know what these bars are called. They're not really mini apes. They're just, I don't know what they're called. But I'm going to put some 12-inch KST bars on them. That'll make my hands a lot more comfortable for me. My back's a little straighter. Right now it kind of hurts makes my back a little sore riding this bike more than a couple hours because I'm hunched over. So bars for sure. Other than the bars, this bike does fit me pretty well. I really like the seat on this. It's a stock seat. It's got a really nice padding to it. And I feel pretty planted in the butt. So like when I get on it, I get pushed back a little bit. And I don't feel like I'm going to fall off the seat or anything. Like I said, it has really nice thump to it. Has a little bit of kick to it from a stock 96-inch, but it's a Dyna. So this is the A version of the Harley motor, which means it doesn't have the counterbalancers in the lower end. We're getting second gear. terrible. I got up to 65 miles an hour in a fairly short duration. I put on a different speedo. This is the Coso speedo. Has the analog RPM and a digital miles per hour. I had this on my Road King too. I really enjoy this speedometer. I actually had two of these. One was sitting in a box because when I had the Road King that Lucy that was sold recently, I thought the speedometer was bad, so I sent it out for repair. And while it was out for repair, it had to go to the manufacturer, which is in Canada, and it got lost in the mail. So, you know, they sent it back to me, and 3 months had gone by. I had a claims ticket in with USPS, and since it didn't have any, sounds good, doesn't it? Since I didn't have any money to prevent for loss on their warranty, then they weren't going to do much about it. And so Coso was kind enough to give me a new speedometer for half the cost of a new one. So I'm like, alright, that's fine. So I got that, and then I put it on the Road King. And then a couple months more went by, and this one showed up in the mail from Canada. So 5 months later, after sending it out, I got it back, and it was recalibrated, so it wasn't tagged to a different bike of anything. And so it was just sitting in the box on my garage. So I put on this, and it's been working out great. Yeah, I love it. Find a nice spot, pull over, and I'll show you around the bike what I've done to it so far. This looks like as good a spot as any, I guess. I don't think this is a very busy road, so I don't have to worry too much about cars. Get neutral here. So here she is. It's my 2013 Dyna Super Glide. As I mentioned, it only had like 3,800 miles or something when I bought it, so darn near brand new. It's got these really nice rims to it. And they're spoke, but instead of the normal spokes that come out and kind of flap down, these are a nice beveled edge to them. I don't know what they're called, but they didn't make them very long. So that's kind of a classic thing. It's got that Dyna shake. I love the shake of the A motors. Like I said, this is basically stock. I got on the S&S Cycle air cleaner. It's got the vented holes for the breather. It looks really cool. I put on some Bassani sweepers. I took out the baffles, and I put in a set of DK Customs torque inserts to give me my low end pressure back, and also helps the air velocity. DK Customs has a whole bunch of video about their torque cones. I'm a big believer in those. Not only does it push the air out, but it helps reversion of not letting the air suck back in. And the way they're shaped, it helps the velocity if your pipes are not stepped. Like these are not stepped pipes, they're the same size from the header back. So you want that velocity pushing downward. Stock cam, stock everything else. Stock pegs. Stock bars. This is the deflector screen. National Cycle, I think, is the maker of these. And then a little Harley bag, so I put my wallet and stuff in. But yeah, other than that, it's a good bike. Really clean paint. It's got a couple small swirls where somebody tried to clean it. But I can buff that out pretty easily. I think this winter I'm going to give it some love and do some paint correction, maybe a light sanding, and be good. So yeah, this is the 2013 Dyna. This got a really nice sound to it. That's why I'm thinking about not putting the 103 cylinders and pistons in this. I just don't want to lose that sound that it has. I still might do the 555 cam from Woods just to give a little more grunt, but I might leave this as a 96 inch. There's also, it's more of that nostalgia. You know, they don't make the Harley 96, obviously. They haven't made it for some time. And there wasn't a whole lot of years that they did, you know, compared to how Harley, as long as they are, they've been around for over 100 years now. You know, the 96 only lasted a fraction of that time. And it's super, super quiet as far as the motor goes. You know, I obviously changed the exhaust and made it a lot more louder, and I'm probably going to put a cam in it. But as far as the cylinders and the pistons and the heads, you know, it's just incredibly quiet. There's hardly any valve train noise at all. So, I don't know. I hate having, once I hit the 110 kit in my breakout, I have a perfectly good set of cylinders and pistons that are, you know, matched. The rings are broken in and everything, and just sitting there. I want to put it to use, but I don't think I want to put it on this bike. Maybe I'll be able to sell it for a couple $100. You know, low miles. It only has, what, 2,000 miles on them? Hey, I've never been down this road. That's the great thing about living in Indiana, at least in the section where I'm at. There's a lot of country around me. I live in a decent sized city. There's probably, like our last census was like 35,000 people. I mean, it's not overly big. It's not like some of my friends that live in large cities like Indianapolis, and now I've got a guy I can call, you know, a buddy in Chicago, get with Nick, you know, but I live in a smaller city. We have a super Walmart and a super Kroger's and a Home Depot, but there's a ton of country. I can go out in the country and just get lost for hours. And it's just nice. This is the kind of cruising that I kind of like to do. I love, you know, highway 60 miles an hour, long stretch roads, just sit back and, you know, enjoy the wind. But I also like this 40 miles an hour, fourth gear, putting down the road, smelling all the smells, coming across the pig farms every now and then going, oh man, what is that smell? See, like right here, freaking cow. Hey cow. Barbed wire fence, right there. Oh man, that sound. 96 inch. That's why I don't like to wear this helmet very often. It takes away from that experience. It's all muffled down. And I woke up this morning, I've got pressure in my nasal cavity and my nose is starting to run. I live across from a cornfield. The other day they turned on the dryer housing, the silo that they put all the corn in as they pluck the corn or harvest the corn. I don't know what they call it. I'm not a farmer. It's starting to jack with me. So now my nose is running in this big old helmet and starting to run down my mouth. Man. So this video is about done. I'm gonna head home and change up helmet so I can blow my nose. I love it. I had a bunch of D-cell popping going on when I changed out pipes. Before I put these Bassani pipes that I originally bought for my breakout, it just so happens that these Bassani pipes come with Dyna brackets and soft tail brackets. And I had the accessories HD ambush pipes on this bike. Sounded excellent. What is this road? 231. Okay, this will take me home. So I had these accessory HD pipes on this, and I liked them. They were nice, but I had these Bassani pipes. They're like $800 pipes just sitting in the garage because I had them on the breakout and I didn't end up liking them. So I bought some different ones for that. But when I put these pipes on, because they're not steps, they had a heck of a lot of decel to them, decel popping. So I took the power vision out yesterday and did a tune on it, and then adjusted the decel spark and fuel. Yeah, baby! Very nice. Got rid of all that decel. So now they got a nice, smooth decel to them, and there's no popping and backfiring. So even this bike, as it is right now, at 60 miles an hour, without this helmet on, I'll be able to hear a lot better, but it's got a nice tone to it when I'm just cruising down the road, 6th gear, a little over 2,000 RPM, probably 2,300 RPM. Just kind of cruising. Get some 12-inch bars. I think that would set me up pretty good. One of the things of also about this bike when I bought it, because it had been sitting, like I said, you know, 2013, so what's that, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 8-year-old bike with less than 4,000 miles, been sitting for quite a while. So I think that both tires, the front and rear tires, had gone flat on the guy, and when they aired it back up, there were some flat spots in the tire. So it made this awful sound when I turned, like a grinding sensation, and I think there was some broken belts in the tires. Not to where it was dangerous, but you know, you don't want broken belts in your tires. So immediately I had to buy new tires. I put some Shinko tires on this, which, you know, some people like Shinkos, some people don't. They're okay for how I ride, you know. They're soft tires, but as I rotate bikes out as I'm riding, because I have different bikes in my garage, you know, I only put on a couple thousand miles a year on a bike. Some bikes might only get 1,000 miles on them, so these tires will still last me a few years before I have to buy new ones. It is such a gorgeous day out. Makes me nervous with intersections like this. So I'm gonna cut it off here, go home and change up helmets and blow my nose, clear out my throat. It's driving me nuts. I may not even ride that long today. So you guys do what you do. Be safe out riding. Make some videos so I have something to watch when I'm on the couch chilling with my family in the living room. Deuces.